Authors say some wild accusations on review sites like Trustpilot, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't hear them out. When Amazon KDP is the subject matter, we should probably pay close attention. From KDP support to the dreaded adult dungeon to suspected fraud, discover if KDP is worth it as we explore unfiltered insights on Trustpilot. I think there is some fraud at KDP. I think there is some fraud here. Having provided my credit card details, my card was compromised and I refused payment. I tried to pay again with a different card and this too was compromised. I was continuously pressured with phone calls implying that if I didn't pay for additional services, my book would not be published. I finally got my book published, but this was a very bad experience. Don't touch KDP with a barge ole. What? I maybe with a 10-foot pole. I mean, barjul. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so the very first thing is this is sending off red flags. KDP doesn't ask for any payments whatsoever unless you're ordering like author copies or like print proofs. They are not going to charge you. It is free to distribute through Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. In exchange, what they do is a revenue share program where you're going to get a certain percentage of the revenue and they're going to get a smaller percentage of the revenue. It varies based on ebook and print book. For ebook, it's going to be anywhere from 35% to 70% royalty that you're going to be paid per sale. And then for print books, it's about 40% to 60% minus print fees that you will be getting your net profits from that. So you paying anything up front, them pressuring you, this tells me right away this is not Amazon KDP. You are not going to be pressured into paying for anything. They don't have any special services that helps you walk through things. Yeah, they have support, but they don't have like a done for you package. So to me, I think that it's not KDP that's the fraud. It might be the service that you're ordering through. So you might want to follow up with them, but it sounds like they still published your work. So that means they followed through on you paying for their services. Reassess who this company is. You might want to find out who's taking the money from your credit card and see where it's leading to, and that will probably give you your answer because I guarantee you it's not an Amazon-owned company. The emails are handled by bots, not customer service. This one, I actually asked the Kindle Direct Publishing team directly, and they gave me a pretty stern no comment. I'm not going to disagree with you. Now, to give them a 1 star based on the poor email support, I mean, that's all going to be very subjective to me. I think that would just knock down 1 star because there are so many other ways that you can get in touch with them because they do have phone support in most regions and they also have live chat support. Take advantage of those 2 options before you lean into emails. Emails, I almost try to avoid it unless it's not something very important. It could probably be, me trying to reach out to them to let them know that they've put my book into the wrong category. Yeah, it's not the greatest customer service whatsoever. I've seen names attached to these responses, but it's a little bit suspect because every time that I'm getting a response, it's typically something very boilerplate. It's copy paste. I've said my complaints about email support before, and I think that they have ways to go to improve that. Is it 1 star worthy? No, but again, that's just my opinion. What do you think? Royalties are a joke. I spent hours trying to upload in the right PDF format a thick book of 680 pages full of illustrations, drawings, and text. And when I finally made it, the bitter surprise made me rethink and abandon the platform. Minimum selling price imposed, $91. Printing cost, $54.60. Amazon cut, $36.40. Royalties, $0. Price tag at $95 gives me $2.80 in royalties. For paperback with glued spine that won't last for long and nothing more, $91 is already too high and impossible to market. It's a pass. This is understandable. Lorenzo, on this particular one, you probably weren't familiar, and a lot of you may not be familiar with this at all, but KDP actually has a pricing calculator that you can use on their help page to figure out how much a project's going to cost. Chances are super likely, because I went in there and I looked at the black and white costs for this, and the black and white cost wasn't coming close to $91 whatsoever. Might be like $20 or $30. I'll post it on the screen right here. This is how much it would be if it was black and white. It's when you go into standard color right here and then premium color, that base rate really goes up significantly. And for something like this, 680 pages, when it's print on demand, they're going to charge you by the sheet that you have within your book. It's not necessarily the size of the book, the trim size, it's more so about the page count. And past a certain threshold is when they'll start charging you about 1 cent to 3 cents per page. It varies based on black and white or standard color or full color. It all varies. You're going to want to make sure you do your due diligence ahead of time. I agree. Pricing a book at $91 to get $0 in profits, not great. However, I did the math on this one, and maybe you were doing the wrong one, or maybe there's something we're missing in here. But from what the KDP calculator is saying is you're actually getting a little bit more of a profit. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll say so here on the screen, but otherwise, yeah, if you want to get something more like that, you're probably going to need to look into offset printing. Now, offset printing is when you go to actual printers to fulfill your print run, and that would probably be like 100 books or more. It varies per print shop. You're going to have to pay for that stuff up front. And if you want it to be much cheaper so you get a greater profit, offset printing is the way to go. Just ended up in the dungeon, no reason given. We spend thousands of hours on our books and Amazon bans us for no reason. Now we got to spend hundreds more on new covers and more, hoping we will get out. Complete monopoly, nowhere to go, costing us a huge amount of money. Signing the class action lawsuit, interested in more class action lawsuits. Sickening. We'll file a complaint with Europa and ECC soon if it isn't reversed through a change in description. Yes, Amazon is violating Europe's laws, which state that both a reason for ban should be given and an appeal. Okay, so this is a very interesting one. I thought they were talking about one thing and they're talking about another one. So if you're not familiar with the adult dungeon over on Amazon, it's usually related to erotica books. So if you happen to be putting out any really steamy romance books, like heavy theme, a little closer to erotica, some people are probably going to beat me up inside the comments for throwing them together, but it has happened in the past where Amazon, for whatever reason, or KDP in particular, finds a book to not be of commercial value or being something that they want to kind of put out in the public. So they do kind of a shadow ban. Shadow ban's typically referred to on social media when somebody posts something, nobody else happens to see it. But here's the thing though, your book can still be put into the dungeon and still be discoverable, but you're going to have to drive the traffic yourself. And you know what, there's a really voracious audience out there that wants that. Now, probably in this instance, if the person didn't select that it's adult content inside the upload process, it could have been flagged for the keywords that were selected or the categories that were selected. Either one of those options. Now, I haven't got a clear explanation from KDP on what that automation process is like, if it's, powered by artificial intelligence, or is there human going in here and vetting it? I think everybody probably can agree that it's pretty much all automated, that some algorithm tries to figure that out. So in an instance like this where the person's really upset about it, instead of going through and changing out all of your covers and all that type of stuff, the very first thing we got to kind of understand is the adult dungeon doesn't mean that you've been banned. Now, if you're being banned, that means that your account's probably going to be shut down, you're going to get terminated or suspended in some capacity. If you're getting your book blocked, that just means that book isn't going to go out there. Now, if you're getting it published and it's not discoverable because it's in the adult dungeon, then that's a whole different thing. That's not being banned. They're just trying to cover their own rear ends. They don't want to have something that they consider adult content available to the mass market, at least not so accessible as other books would be, like normal romance or science fiction or horror or any of those other type of genres. So the dungeon exists. I've heard it so much. KDP has never really ever acknowledged its existence, but it is a thing. I requested a callback 3 times today. The first 2 people that I spoke to were very nice, patient, and considerate. The third time I requested for a callback when the lady called me. She was very nasty. She was rude. She was talking over top of me at some point. I asked to speak to somebody else. She told me that I couldn't talk to anybody else. She was so rude and so disrespectful and unprofessional. I just hung up my phone. I have to sit and endure disrespect as a customer. I demand to be treated with respect. And I even told the lady, I didn't do anything to you. From the moment you got on this phone, you've been been nothing but nasty to me, and I don't appreciate that she gave me a headache. That's how much she got on my nerves. I'm asking her, what's the measurements? She's telling me that she can't design my book. How are you giving me the measurements designing my book at one point? She was talking about things that wasn't even concerning to the reason why I requested a callback. I even asked her, Lair, we on the same page. I don't know where her mental problem was or her mental status is, but for a person to be working at KDP, she should not be working there if she cannot deal with customs on an everyday basis. Boy, this is a case-by-case scenario, and I think everybody goes through a bad day. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to this reviewer, but also give the benefit of the doubt to the Amazon KDP customer support person. I don't know. There's always two sides to the story. Actually, they say three sides. They got both the sides and, of course, the actual truth. And to me, I feel like if you're going to be contacting through the phone support and you're chatting with somebody. And by the way, if you want to ever get phone support, you just scroll down to the bottom of the KDP dashboard, select Contact Us, and then you're going to go through the full questionnaire before it actually presents you with the options. And you have phone support, and it'll call you back on your phone. Now, when you get there, it's important that you have to remember this is a business. Yes, we are customers to KDP. We're also business owners, and you have to lead with professionalism and tact. And while someone might disrespect you or you feel like you're being disrespected, it's important that you first of all frame it in a way of, how do I want to present myself as a business professional? Is this how I want to do it? Screaming, yelling, name calling, doing run-on sentences on Trustpilot? It's not going to solve anything. I think you probably did the best option was walk away from it. Just, say, I'm sorry, right now, kind of heated up. Hang it up, get them to call back later, and chances are very likely you're going to get a different rep. And I would recommend at that point, report the last person. Just say, hey, this person was really rude to me, and give them the full details. And that's going to probably solve so much more. Cooler heads will always prevail. I'm not telling you just to roll over, but you need to approach it with poise and professionalism. Access the deleted clips from this video, plus dozens of other exclusive videos when you subscribe to my premium video on demand service. Visit theselfpublishinghub.com for more details. For now, check out this video where I looked at some other Trustpilot reviews, or check out this recommendation by YouTube. I'll see you there.